groovy people, welcome to the channel. I'm the self-proclaimed Blue Dragon. This is the monthly Q&A for April 2022. I didn't think I was going to get any questions this time, but then I did, so I have a handful of questions that I'd like to answer. There may be some spoilers, but I want to just kind of jump right into this. I might save some of the questions for next time because I actually ended up getting a lot of questions that I didn't think I was going to, so let's start with Dark Horse. First off, how is Battle Royal coming along? Essentially, I guess they're talking about, how long is it until the act ends? And let's see here. At time of recording, it's different because I'm recording this earlier. So page 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 31. At the time of recording, I have up to page 31 published, or will be published on Webtoons. Friday is when page 31 posts. That's Friday, April 29th. But this act has about 35 pages? I'm not sure if I'm ending up adding one or not. Let me check real quick. Around 35, 36 pages. I have 36 scheduled. So we're almost there. We're actually almost to the end of that. And what that means is that I'll be taking a 2-month break over on Webtoons with the revamp, and that's going to give me time to focus on writing the next act for the revamp, which is going to be following fairly closely to what's up on Comic Fury. But I'm also going to be fixing like some action scenes that were I was really struggling when I first came to this act, which the next act up is going to be Awakenings. There's some pages that I really like, there's some compositions that I really like and got a lot of compliments, and then there's some pages that are just complete and utter garbage. So I'm going to be working on fixing those, but yeah, the break is coming up pretty soon here, which means whenever I post that last page, which is going to be sometime in May, 2 months later, I will be picking up again sometime, probably towards the end of July, probably around the end of July, with the revamp of Awakenings. I'm going to also try to take that time to work on the next act, which is updating on Comic Fury, but that's going at a much slower pace because I am trying to catch up to where I'm at so that I'm only working on one act at a time. But yeah, that's where we're at with Battle Royal. Let's tick that off the list. Okay, now we're getting into spoiler territory. If you don't want spoilers for opposition, please skip ahead to the text that's floating in the air. Just kidding. Is Shimiko lonely? Is Shimiko lonely? I would think so, yeah. For those who are choosing to stick around that don't care about spoilers, Shimiko's met up with the crew, and it's essentially been explained to them over on Tapas and also on Comic Fury, and by this point, I think it's probably up on my main website too. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, she's essentially the only guardian left guarding the 7 seals that are containing the Dark Horse, that's keeping them from leaving where they have been trapped. Now there actually are other guardians, but she's essentially just been kind of meditating and just kind of keeping track of events in her own little intra-dimensional space for a long time, for millennia. So yeah, I would say that she is lonely. How has that affected her? I mean, I'm sure it's affected her mentally in some way, the isolation, but yes, the short answer is yes, she is lonely. The next question, actually, I'm going to skip one of the questions and move, because kind of still talking about Shimiko. Somebody asked, is she protecting the seals by herself? And the answer is, at the moment, yes. The seals themselves are protected because that's just kind of how that specific magic works. There are ways to break seals, of course, but there used to be 6 other guardians, at least that Shimiko personally knew, and I can't spoil what happened to them over the years. But she was not always the only one, but she is the only one who is extraplanar or intraplanar, I guess. I'm not really sure how to put that. She's outside of everything. And while she knew who the others were and had participated in the ceremony that kind of declared them these crystal guardians, these crystal lotus warriors, she's only participated in it once. There have been other people, is all I will say. And if I talk too much about it, then I'm getting into major spoiler territory that hasn't even been touched upon, so we'll leave it at that. Okay, the question that I skipped: do the girls have a choice in the matter? So, and they're referencing Shimiko asking, giving them time to think about whether or not they're going to go to the future to help her. I mean, they do technically have a choice. They could say no, and Shimiko would go alone. But, I mean, realistically, they if they're going, the way they view it is, or the way that they need to think about it is that Keisuma still has Kanma, who, seeing as Yuli destroyed the time scriptures that Keisuma had been collecting for centuries before she got trapped, and we'll get into why she was doing that. She has a motivation, but he destroyed them, so the only person really that knows how to do time travel outside of Shimiko, who of course is not going to aid Keisuma in this matter. I won't talk much about what she's not something or someone that Keisuma would turn to, obviously, because Shimiko is guarding one of the seals for the Dark Horse. So Kanma is still in Keisuma's, I guess, possession, for lack of a better word. She's imprisoned there. So she's the only one who has the ability to give Keisuma the information she needs to travel back in time. So, I mean, if they think that, sure, Shimiko is extremely overpowered, but because she's so overpowered, were she to do battle solely against Keisuma, she would probably destroy the whole world, which is why she has been separated from most of the other guardians, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, she could go and take out Keisuma, but she would probably take out most of the planet also. So, I mean, and we'll find out more about Shimiko later on, more about her powers and who she is and what she is. But yeah, I mean, technically the girls could just say no and just let things run its course and let Keisuma do what she wants and not help. But all paths that way lead to ruin. So, not really. I mean, I guess they don't have a choice, but they do. At this point, Shimiko is at least letting them take the time to mull it over themselves so that they can come to the conclusion themselves, so that they can at least think that it was their decision, when in reality, I mean, the only choice they have, I mean, if you're Kana, Keisuma's doing all this stuff with her body, people will probably still keep coming after Yuli, although, to be honest, Shimiko would be taking Yuli back with her regardless of what the girls say. But, I mean, at this point, the only way to really defeat Keisuma is to get people whose powers aren't so incredibly overwhelming that they'll destroy everything. Because, I mean, Shimiko's powers are like the void. They are spatial. They are time and space related. And Keisuma's powers are so great that she wouldn't just be able to use a minimal amount of force. So, I don't think the girls really have a choice. That's at least where I'm leading them. I mean, they could say no, but they aren't complete and total. I mean, they care, They care about the future. They care about their future. And the world's going to suffer enough as it is without letting Keisuma just have complete run over the world. So, I think that answers the question pretty thoroughly. This person asks, why does the god need 3 heads? They were talking about this page here. I was joking with my response to them, but 3 heads are better than 1. 3 for a tiebreaker. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so a lot of my characters are kind of combining influences from Hindu theology. I don't don't want to spoil too much, but also even within it, like old biblical texts, there are beings who have many heads. There are beings who have many eyes, and I don't want to like really get much. I'm just pulling very heavily from a lot of different beings of different faiths. So there's a reason why this character has 3 heads. Maybe there, I mean, this is all also, remember, I was talking about Yuli and whether or not he was a reliable narrator. Something to remember is that this is also Shimiko retelling things that she was not physically present for. Now, she probably would have been around at the time. Well, she might have been, but she might not have been either. I think this all happened before Shimiko. So the thing that should be implied is that there have been guardians before Shimiko also, at least according to her. We have to remember that this is all word of mouth being passed down from person to person from various people's perspectives. So again, without spoiling a lot, I want to make it clear that we shouldn't just blindly trust the narrator. We shouldn't just blindly trust what Shimiko is saying. We shouldn't just blindly trust what Yuli is saying. You need to take into mind that they are telling it from their perspective. Obviously, Yuli's, what's happened to him, he's keeping things from the girls, but he's telling it from his point of view. But when it comes to Shimiko, she herself was referencing that this was a myth. So the implication is that she wasn't there at the time that the dark horse or the demon was consuming villages. She was there at a later point in time, and this information had been relayed to her and her other guardians at the time that they received their powers, if that makes sense. That's where I'm gonna leave it, because I don't want to like have too many spoilers. Then I have a couple questions and I'm gonna cover that aren't Dark Horse related, so spoiler time is over. Do you have any upcoming events? Not really. Comic Fury Zine, of course, we're working on that. We had been accepting applications, but the application period is over. So that's an upcoming event that will be releasing sometime in July of this year. We're letting people work on their pages and drafts and stuff like that right now. Outdoor events, I've kind of been keeping an eye on things, but just I'm so busy right now. Every other month I'm traveling home to my parents. So this year I probably won't, unless it's later on or I find something that's taking place during one of my breaks at home. I might have an event. If I do, I'll definitely bring it up on this channel, but there is the fashion zine that Aradia is going to be putting out. There was an update that they're working on the finishing touches, but these are all like labors of love, so it takes time for people to finish up their end of the work. And having worked on Comic Fury Zine, I totally understand how much work that is, so I haven't been like, putting any pressure on them to find out a release date. But when that comes out, because I did a couple videos on it, I will definitely share that with y'all. Any other events? I'll probably be doing the Halloween crossover. But yeah, I don't have too many. There might be something that comes up with Aradia Magical Girl Collective, but I don't really have a lot of plans for events at the moment. But if I do, I will definitely make an announcement on the channel. I have other questions here, but I'm gonna hold them off for next month's video. I did already talk to the people who asked them. And I think that they would fit the theme of next month's video a little bit better, because I do, if I can, try to keep kind of a theme with my questions. So I went ahead and double checked, and they're okay with that. So that's all for this month. Sorry, I'm kind of stuttering all over the place, but I just got so much going on right now, y'all. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the description. I hope how has your day been doing? How are your projects been going? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I'll be back next week with another video. Peace and love, fare you well, and keep on trucking.